What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome back to another video. Hope everybody's doing well, and let's get straight into things. So we're going to start on the dollar, and as you can see, we have the weekly up. Actually, before we get into this, I forgot to tell you guys that I'm actually going through some personal changes. As you can tell, my voice is much different to how it used to be. I hope this doesn't create any distractions or change the way you watch my videos. And yeah, let's get straight into things. So we'll be starting on the dollar as per usual, and you'll see that we did actually expand higher for the buy side targets I brought our attention to in yesterday's video. So make sure to go watch that video if you haven't already. But yeah, I was expecting us to dip lower first, but you can see we continue to rally. Therefore, we can expect a continuation into that bearish order block that I also brought our attention to on the daily.
April Fools, guys. I hope you found that funny. Let's continue with the video. So we have a daily bearish order block right here that I do want to see us continue to trade into, especially after seeing how aggressively bullish we were today on Monday. This just suggests, this is clear displacement to the upside, so I do want to see if price can continue to trade higher on dollar and actually fill in this range like we anticipated. So it's nice to see that we've taken out this high now. I can get rid of that, and now I'd like to see us work our way up into this bearish order block. I do believe this is going to be a very sensitive level, so when price trades into that, I am hoping to see quite a strong reaction. And what you'll also find is that lines up nicely with the midpoint of this bearish order block, which is what we call mean threshold. So I'll just show you that now, and you can see the midpoint lines up quite nicely with that bearish order block. So again, as price starts to penetrate that and get into there, well, yeah, as price starts to get into there, we can anticipate a strong reaction away. So that's what I have my eyes set on moving forward. If we drop down to the 4 hour now, you'll see how we had a large expansion, and what you'll also see on the 4 hour is a potential reclaimed bullish order block right here. Now this level, this is a bullish order block for these two candles, right? Because you can see that this candle expanded higher. So I am going to be paying very close attention to this level. And again, moving into tomorrow, I'd like to think that we can dip back into this fair value gap, create some kind of low, maybe during the Asian session or in the London session, to then expand higher and again reach our target. Now price doesn't need to turn around at this level. It would be nice if it does, but I am going to be watching price to see what happens when we get to this level. And the reason for that is because, like I said, I am expecting some kind of reversal, with it being the month of April, and we have been rallying now for about 3 months in general, as in we've had 3 months of continued upwards price action. So we're expecting some kind of shift in the market in general. So it'd be nice to see if we can see a reaction at that level. But yeah, I'm just watching tomorrow. Can we reach up there? And when we do, what's going to happen? So if I am going to be trading shorts on the pairs as dollar rallies into this, I'll simply get out of my position as soon as we reach here and wait and watch, because price could, if depending on how bullish we are, it could technically trade through there and run for the stops above. But preferably, I'd like to think that it will hit it as like a bumper, and then we see a strong reaction off of it. So tomorrow's going to be very interesting. We can drop down to the 1 hour to get a better look at price. You can see how we're just consolidating, and again you can see that massive hourly fair value gap right here. We can definitely keep an eye on this as well, and we can also draw out the midpoint of that, and hopefully, and it'll be nice to see if price can respect the consequent encroachment of this as well. So yeah, it's quite an interesting day. You can see we consolidated, failed to take out the Asia low, and I'll show you what I mean by that right now. So I'll just get the midnight candle started there, and then Asia started at 7 p.m. And you'll see how price failed to take out the Asia low. Now when price fails to do this, because what you'll find is that price tends to take out both sides of the Asia range, but you'll see that we failed to take out that low. So I do expect price to eventually target this after we have a reversal. I don't think we're done trading higher, which is why I'd like to see this fair value gap provide support. Remember, this black line is that anticipated reclaimed bullish order block. So we're going to see, can it provide support? I'm going to put anticipated reclaimed bullish order block. And today was a perfect example as well as to why I don't trade Mondays, because if you watch my video yesterday, you'll see I wanted to see price trade lower and it didn't. And me not trading Mondays allows me to give room for that kind of for price to do its thing. And now that price has done its thing, I'm like, okay, well, we see clear displacement to the upside. We have this target up here. So now we can move into the next day with the expectation that we're likely going to want to start reaching and wanting to reaching for that target in general. So anticipated reclaimed bullish order block, would be nice to see if we can find support on top of that, and 50% of this fair value gap. Now if price does retrace lower and trade through this, if we trade through the entire fair value gap, I'd simply start looking for these lows to get raided and for us to trade lower. But like I said, preferably I'd like to think that there'll be continued support, as I don't think we're done in terms of reaching and closing in this void that we have all the way from, geez, when is it? I can't even see it on the 15-minute. We'll go to the 4-hour real quick. All the way from 2023 November. So it's going to be interesting tomorrow. We do have high impact news tomorrow as well, so definitely pay attention to the time. Like it might be 8:30 that we hit this, and then that would create a nice setup for potential shorts for the rest of the week. But yeah, definitely something to be careful and wary of. But overall, I'd like to think that we can move into the new day, and let me just get that marked out as well right here. After seeing Asia trade, create some kind of low and then run up and hit our target to then anticipate some kind of potential reversal. So yeah, that's everything on dollar. I am now going to move into GBP USD, and I'm going to start on the weekly here as well. Now again, we're seeing clear displacement, and it is nice when we see clear displacement like this because it shows direction as to where the market is trading to. What you'll find is that we traded to 50% level off this wick right here. I'll show you what I mean. We can draw out the 50% level. Price traded nicely into that, just about missed it, and then aggressively traded lower. So we are running towards the lows that we had marked out. So these targets are likely to get drawn to moving into Tuesday and potentially Wednesday. So let's just get those delineated. We have sell side liquidity below these lows here. We can make that a little bit more bold. And then we also have a nice weekly fair value gap that price may reach for. Now this does seem like a bit of a stretch for pound, but we can't ignore it because it's there. So I'm definitely going to keep this marked out. We can now drop down to the daily. You can see clear displacement to the downside after a consolidation. So pretty much the same thing. I'd like to think that we can see as soon as price trades above midnight open, if it does offer, you know, pricing above midnight open on Tuesday, I'll be looking for shorts with the expectation to attack this south side liquidity pool here. And remember that fair value gap on the weekly, which is that red box I've got delineated. On the 4-hour, you can see the large expansion. We do have a swing low down here. Price may want to reprice with that, but again, because of how weak we are or how bullish we are on dollar, price may not even manage to reach all the way up here. So we do have to be careful and pay close attention to the Asia range moving into tomorrow, because it's likely that we'll consolidate. We have a bearish order block here, and this should set us up for a nice shorting opportunity on pound with the expectation to run lower. So I'm going to get that drawn out. I'm also going to get the daily dividers marked out just to make things a little bit easier on myself. And then you'll see we have high impact news tomorrow at 10 a.m. New York. So what we might find is that New York opening might be a little bit more consolidated than anticipated, which is completely fine. But definitely pay attention to this bearish order block here because it should provide resistance we need to send price lower. Now, do bear in mind, it is only 4:15 New York time. So we still have a lot of time before the Asia range trades and before London. So a lot can happen in that time. But generally speaking, I'd like to think that we can consolidate. We can consolidate into the next day, create some kind of swing high, and then start the run lower. That's what I have marked out. But yeah, today was interesting. If you look at the London session, you will see that there was a few setups for shorting opportunities, and at 8:30 as well. So you can see 8:30 right here. You can see we traded up into a fair value gap after displacing to the downside. So here would have been an optimal trade entry if you wanted to get in on the short today. I didn't, because like I said, I don't really trade Mondays like that, but that would have been your setup for today. Stop loss above there, short above there, with the expectation to run for these lows, which is what we hit beautifully. So yeah, moving into tomorrow, see if we can reach here, look for resistance, and then again target these lows as our next calling point. Let's now finish up on Euro USD. We'll start on the weekly here as well, and again we can see clear displacement on Euro. Let me just get rid of that real quick. So we traded slightly up, and then we regressively started to trade lower. We have a swing low below here. So again, these lows, I did bring our attention to these lows in yesterday's video. However, I didn't expect us to start running for them so quick. So price is clearly in a rush to create some kind of low. That's completely fine. And if we go to the daily, you can see how we've have we tagged this low yet? We've just taken out that low. So again, moving into tomorrow, I'd like to think that we can push lower and deeper into these south side targets. We do have a fair value gap down here on the daily, and again, it does seem like a bit of a stretch. And what I mean by a stretch is that in terms of dollar, I only want to see it reach this bearish order block preferably. But again, I was saying price may go through this bearish order block. And if that happens, my next target on dollar would simply be this volume imbalance right here. You can see there's no trading, so this may act as like a liquidity void for price. So this might be sucking price up to there. So there's very high probability that price can get up there. I just want to see how we treat this level first. So when we are looking at euro to trade lower and GBP to trade lower, we need to be paying close attention to dollar to see where it's at, because it's very possible that we may simply dip below this low and then see a reversal at the same time that dollar is trading into this bearish order block. So definitely these are all levels to pay close attention to. I'd be using a lot of low risk this week, purely because you can see how just like we're coming back into this consolidation range, and you can see how difficult it gets when we are in these phases. But yeah, moving into Tuesday, it should be quite interesting. Also, you can also see that we have, I think we have high impact news on euro as well. Maybe I'm going crazy. Oh, yeah, I am. No, I'm not. Euro right here. So tomorrow, inflation rate is at 8 a.m. New York time. So again, we can start hunting for some kind of setups on euro. Euro very may well trade higher into this fair value gap at around 8 a.m. and then that would form a nice setup for continued shorting expectations to run into these lows and then these lows. So there are a few setups that should be able to form tomorrow. I am looking for this fair value gap to get traded into this big gap right here, and you'll also see this low right here. Price may want to rebalance with it. Now it doesn't have to touch it, but in terms of price trading back into this range, very high likelihood that price is going to want to do that before we see some kind of reversal. So definitely pay attention. I'm looking for a rally in the early stages of the day with the expectation to trade lower for the rest of the day moving into Tuesday. So that's my expectations on euro. So yeah, pretty simple, generally speaking. Hope that all makes sense. So don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, join me on Discord, follow me on Instagram. Happy April Fools, happy Easter, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.